Hello, my name is Jimmy Garagorri. I'm Technical Support Engineer for the Hortonworks support team in the Americas East. And we are here to show you how to configure Ambari Metric System to use CA sign certificates. In this video, we will be describing the Ambari Metric System configuration using high availability in a configuration active standby using SSL certificates. The logical steps to deploy certificates provided by a custom certificate authority, and finally, we will be executing all the steps required to complete this setup. Ambari Metric System is an Ambari native pluggable and scalable system for collecting and querying Hadoop metrics. That includes Grafana, a powerful dashboard builder that is fully open source with a wide community adoption. By default, Metrics Collector is the REST API component that receives metrics payload as JSON over HTTP from the sinks and monitors. The metrics are written into the HBase storage layer, which is dedicated storage for metric data and managed as a part of AMS, separate from the cluster HBase. The HBase schema is defined using Phoenix, and all the read and write operations from AMS are Phoenix JDBC API calls. The sync implementations are native to AMS and are placed into the class path of the support Hadoop ecosystem service by Ambari. The monitors are lightweight Python daemons for system counters that use PSUtil native libraries for data collection. AMS can scale horizontally by adding additional collector nodes, which effectively adds additional HBase region servers to handle increased read-write load. Ambari Stack Advisor is utilized to advise on AMS configurations proportional to the number of sinks and monitors and thereby the cluster size. For this video, our CA will provide us with a couple of PKCS12 bundle of certificates called AMC01.P12 and AMC02.P12. From one of them, we will get the CA certificate. When we have the CA certificate chain, we will proceed to create a trustor with this certificate and will be created as a trusted cert entry. Then, we will be adding the information for each of our Ambari Metrics collectors. Now, we need to create a key store for each of our collectors. The key store will have the information of our CA and the certificate for each of our servers. Basically, for each metrics collector, you need to add a PKCS12 bundle identified by an alias with the metrics collector FQDN with private key entry, and the root CA and the intermediate certificates in a trustor identified by an alias with a trusted cert entry. Every time Ambari starts the service, it will try to export the root CA and intermediate certificate from the trustor located in all nodes. First, it will try converting the trustor from JKS format to PKCS12 format, then exporting all the CA certificate from the trustor to its configuration directory, creating a file called ca.pem. Let's start double checking the certificate information we just received from the certificate authority. To do that, we need to open our terminal and execute this command. As you can see, we have two bundles, and since we have a couple of certificate bundles from the same certificate authority, we will extract the CA certificate from one of them. To do this, we are going to execute the following command. Now, we have the root CA certificate. Next, we need to create a trustor and add the certificate for the root CA. To do this, we are going to execute the following command. We need to trust in that certificate. Now, let's double check the information we just add. Without password, as you can see, we have the root certificate identified as a trusted cert entry. Now we need to add to the trustor the private cert entry for all the Ambari Metric Collector using the FQDN as an alias. Let's start with the first metric collector. Now with the second metric collector. Now double check the information we just add here. Without password, we have a private key entry for the node 3, a trusted cert entry for the CA certificate, and a private key entry for node 2. Now we need to create for the first Ambari Metric Collector a key store, adding the root CA certificate as a trusted entry and the server itself as a private key entry. To do this, we are going to execute the following command. We need to trust in the certificate. Now we are going to use the server certificate. Now we need to create a key store for the second Ambari Metric Collector. As the previous, we need to add to the key store the root CA certificate as a trusted entry and the second metric collector as a private key entry. To do this, we are going to execute the following command. We need to trust in the certificate. As you can see, we are storing the key store in a different location for the second metric collector. Now we need to add the private entry. Now we have the key store for the Ambari Metric Collector in the node 2 and the same for the Ambari Metric Collector for the server 1. Now we need to copy the trustor to all nodes, including Ambari server, and the key store for each Ambari Metrics Collector. For simplicity, we will be using a for loop to copy the information in the right location, using this. From Ambari, we need to configure the SSL properties to reference to this key store and this trustor. So basically, we are going back to the Ambari UI. As you can see, we have two collectors, one in the node 2, one in the node 3. Now we need to enable the configuration. We just create. To do this, we need to enable access from HTTP to HTTPS, changing this property. Now we need to locate the information for SSL server. We can filter here. And we can update the information for the key store and the trustor. We are going to use a password for both configurations as Hadoop1234. And the location is a custom folder we just create. So basically we need to update this. And we need to switch the SSL server key store location to the path where we copy the key store. And we need to set the path for the trust store. Since we already have the information there in all the servers, we can validate additional information for clients. So you can see we can validate the trust store for the client. We already modified the SSL server, so we need to clear this filter and set SSL client and update the information. And set the path to this. Now from Ambari we can save this. We can ignore this error. Now we need to restart all effect. In this log, you could see all the information that Ambari is trying to extract from the configuration we did before to be able to double check that the information in the trust store and the key store are updated. Node 4, Node 3, pending, done. As you can see, we have 2 metrics collector running, 1 Grafana, and 3 monitors. Now we need to configure Ambari server to use HTTPS instead of HTTP in request to AMS Collector. To do that, we are going to connect to the Ambari server in a terminal session and execute the following commands. Our Ambari is located in node 1. We need to update the Ambari property file to indicate that it's going to use HTTPS. And we need to set up the trust store for Ambari. To do this, we are going to execute the following. We are going to choose the option 4. Yes. Yes. We need to specify the path for the trust store. We need to provide the password. As you can see, it's successful. Basically, we need to restart the Ambari. While it's starting, we can go to the Ambari UI and check that all the services are up and running, and we can double check the information for one of the monitors to see if the requests are in place using HTTPS instead of HTTP. So basically we can back to the other server and we can check with tailf command the metrics monitor log, and we can see that's trying to get access to the active metric collector using HTTPS instead HTTP. And we can back to the Ambari UI Sign again. And we can see Ambari Metrics summary that is conformed by 2 metrics collector, Grafana, and 3 metrics monitor. With this, we already replaced the communication for AMS using HTTPS using SSL certificate from a custom CA. Finally, I hope this video was informative for you, and I want to thank you for viewing.